Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. I hope you're doing well. Welcome if you're new here, and if you're a return viewer, thank you so much for your views and support. Thank you also to those who sent donations via Super Thanks, Coffees and PayPal. It really means a lot and helps me keep the channel going. If any of you would like to show your support for the work that I do, then you could send a donation or a gift, and the links are in the description box. It's all very much appreciated and goes back into the channel. Thank you so much. Check out my new merchandise. I've got some new designs available as well. And if any of you would like to become a member of my channel, click the join button below, or my new Patreon as well, where there's exclusive content available there, including guided meditations, podcasts, blogs, you name it. So anyway, this reading is about the recent global internet outage that happened recently. Now, I've got to say, first of all, some of you will know who view me a lot, that I did predict this. I said that we'd have websites crashing and eventually go down. And I've also said that our whole system will collapse eventually. So that's still what I'm seeing. Now, what came through from Spirit this morning, though, is that it was like a wake-up call from the universe when that happened, the outage, to make people step back and reflect. Did any of you do that? Were you affected? You know, how were you affected? Obviously, the internet is used for many things. Think about, first of all, the word web. I always think of spider's web. Now, in one sense, the positive is that it connects everyone, with it being this web, this network. But a web is also used to trap things, keep you stuck. If we rely heavily on the internet alone and not on community, the way things used to be, then first of all we've got addiction, which I'm seeing a lot. I'm seeing that increasing with social media. But also we've got this reliance on that one thing alone, the internet. And, you know, if it goes down, how do people access their customer database, for example, or patient database for doctors? You know, obviously years ago it was all written records, so you could access it. Why do we think they brought in the internet? So that this would happen one day. Now let's look at digital ID that I've mentioned before as well, you know, being the next step. So when that's in place in all countries, then you cannot get online until you have that. So it's all to make people feel trapped. It's the way that I see it. As I said, it can be a great thing as well. In terms of connecting, as I said. Again, I was reflecting this morning, as I do before my readings, and thinking about the work that I do, you know, enables me to connect globally with all of you through the work that I do. Years ago, I think in a past life maybe, I might have had a wagon and needed to go into town, you know, pull out my tarot cards and do readings for people. But yeah, there are pros and cons, aren't there? But anyway, in terms of what happened, as I said, I do feel it was a wake-up call, because I think something else is going to happen. That's my prediction. I feel that it's going to be after all the global ID, digital ID, rather, is in place. I did mention this in my reading about the chip, my predictions, where it will collapse and they'll say, right, that's no longer safe, therefore people are going to need to be connected all the time to this network, via a chip or whatever other means it is. So that's where I see things going. Yeah, it was a wake-up call for humanity. How often, just to put a question out there, how often are you online? Do you rely on it all the time? Obviously I need it for my work, uploading, but I make sure I have sort of blocks where I do that. I go on, do my admin, and then I go off, and that's it. Some of you might be thinking, wow, how do you survive? Well, quite easily, to be honest, in nature, through meditation, channeling, doing creative things. How do you think I find time to do all the things I do? It's not from scrolling endlessly on my phone, you know, and I have seen it in people, that reliance, people I know, even where you're having a conversation and they pull out their phone or go on the computer to search something in the moment that maybe you're talking about. But you know, where's the art of conversation nowadays? I think it's been lost a lot, and that was the agenda by the dark forces who brought in the internet in the first place. So in terms of guidance, I would say try to do that yourself if you can. Detach as much as you can. Nothing wrong with using it as a tool, but don't become reliant on it, whereby if that happens, people are left thinking, well, what do I do? I can't post this, I can't read that. Well, how about going and reading a book? You know, or doing something else, doing something creative, productive. Because that has been lost, I feel, in the world due to this dependence. But anyway, let's see a little bit more in terms of what might happen next with the cards. What does Spirit want to tell us that might happen next? I do personally feel it's all going to crash. Wow, everyone, that just jumped out there. We got the Death card. And this is all about transformation. Death and ending. An ending of things as we know it, collapse. I wouldn't be surprised if the Tower card came out. We'll just see if we get anything else to go with this, but that says it all. Ego death as well for some people. As a result, you know, if everything's stripped away, then you need to go within, don't you? And start reflecting and doing the inner work. Okay, so we got 2 more cards. We'll take those. Yeah, so this really makes sense. Death, I'm just seeing, is releasing what no longer serves us. So whether that's individuals or, as I said, because we're looking at globally here, the internet, I do feel there's going to be a shift, a transformation. And if that happens, it will bring on this energy, the 9 of Swords, which symbolises mental anguish, nightmares, psychological turmoil. Yeah, as I said, those who are very dependent, maybe, you know, for their work, socially, they're going to be in that energy, and as a result, go through this ego death. That's what I feel. Quite dark cards here. So darkness, pulling the plug on everything. People being in darkness. And when I say that, like psychological darkness, intense anxiety, despair, dread. I've got to call it out, everyone. I don't sugarcoat. This isn't to bring fear to anyone. And I don't see it as a bad thing either. So, you see, this card can depict nightmares. We've got like dark energies here. That's what it could bring on for some people, with anxiety, intrusive thoughts, doom, self-doubt, fear, not being able to sleep because people are dependent on certain things like apps, websites. But it's a time to fight those inner demons with that card. I mean, I have said this before, that we may have dark spirits roaming, kind of seeing that there in the card, in the future. But this is what will allow people to grow. So let's see it as a positive. But we've also got the Knight of Swords, which indicates swift action, being determined, mental sharpness in pursuit of goals. Notice the blood red landscape here. That's really interesting in terms of the dark energies being eliminated, I feel, as well. But there's also clouds in the background which can indicate confusion and distractions. But this Knight of Swords, with his sword there, is cutting through that confusion with focus. And he's assured of victory in his pursuits. So this could be a person who comes along, driven to conquer what lies ahead, because he's moving into the future there. But also people individually who are going to be driven to make changes, as I said, potentially internally. Now we've also got the Eight of Cups at the bottom of the deck, which symbolises abandoning a well-established situation. There's someone there moving on. So moving on from that situation with the Fool underneath for a new chapter ahead. Excuse me, everyone. I'm getting a bit of a blocked throat chakra in this reading. So, yeah, like blocks in communication, people won't be able to communicate for a while. There'll be a change in the way that happens. We've got the Sun there. And we've also got a clue here in this card, because it's a solar eclipse, which illuminates the scene and signifies a complete reset. Wow, everyone. Yeah, complete reset of our system is what's ahead. Swift change with the Knight of Swords. Us moving on from that old system forwards on a new path, a new way of doing things. That's what I'm seeing. So don't hold on to the old. With this fear, this is what some are going to do, and that's going to hold you back if you do that. Fear of letting go, fear of change. There's a lot of people that fear change. But sometimes change is what we need. And the Knight of Swords is the bringer of change. So there is going to be a change in the future. I'm seeing it as positive. Let's just get one more card on this change, on how it's going to be. Wow. The cards are speaking to us today. Well, we got the Knight of Swords and the Queen of Swords. That's really interesting because it could be people here. Swords are about communication. Yeah, and the Eight of Wands is also about communication, pointing to a star, sign of hope and healing. So a new way of communicating. Linking, the star again, linking to like how we're connected. The internet, for example, but the Three of Swords below shows loss, grief, sadness. But we need to release that anxiety and grief and move forwards. It's going to be very quick. The Knight of Swords, Eight of Wands. That's what I feel. With all the swords, it can represent thoughts, but also clarity, honesty, mental acuity. It could be someone who brings the truth, or two people here, group of people, who bring the truth and wisdom that they've earned through overcoming that sorrow. So I'm getting like people here, like light workers, who've been through a lot of difficult times, sorrow. They've been through that ego death already, dark night of the soul. And so they're going to lead the way in the future for the collective. This is a group of energies coming through. Because some people will have to go through that. I have been feeling this recently, actually, that many of you watching have a purpose, if this resonates with you, in terms of doing this for the collective, to help them through, to see that light, have hope, release that grief and sadness that's in the collective at the moment. This came out in my last reading. I remember Three of Swords, the same card. So we're gonna find out the truth, pierce the illusion and confusion that we've been living in. I've been seeing as well visions of, with this collapse, things literally flipping. So those at the top going down, and those who are unseen, overlooked, stepping up into these positions. People are suddenly going to just step up, be offered, be asked rather to be of service. Even people who've retired, who've been through these things, these challenges. It doesn't matter about your qualifications. It's more about your energy, your frequency. And that's how we're going to get through this shift, this big awakening and transformation. So that's what I'm seeing, everyone. Stay positive. As I said, it depends where you're at on your spiritual journey. Which way do you think you are? Are you going to fall into that anxious, fearful energy? Or are you going to embrace the truth and share it, share your light, shine your light with others? So I'm going to finish with some spiritual guidance with these Angels and Ancestors cards. Guidance now for the collective, whatever comes through from the Angels and Ancestors. So we'll take those two. Well, first of all, that's interesting. We got seer. Maybe some of you are seers, you have psychic gifts. If so, trust your intuition in terms of what you feel is going on. You will sense it. You'll feel it before you see it. See how her eyes are closed? It says, see beyond the current situation. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do in this reading, obviously. Yeah, because there's more to this. As I said, there's a reason. We've been given a sign of the impending collapse of our current system. So if you know that, then you're fine, aren't you? Because you know the outcome. Basically, don't drop into fear. Trust what you feel. Trust the guidance that comes to you. Synchronicities and signs, maybe in your dreams. And we've got Fire Guardian. It says, ignite your passion. Yeah, that's so true, isn't it? In terms of what I was saying before about the internet detaching, doing something you're passionate about. It could be, you know, your hobby, creating something, whatever it is that you enjoy doing, finding other ways of doing it, maybe connecting through the community so that you've got something established, or maybe in the future this is what you're going to need to do. This is it about people needing to step up. That's really what I feel. People with different skills, something they have, a skill they have, they'll be guided to use. So that it could be the seers out there getting their wagon, as I mentioned before, and getting out into town and doing readings for people, for example. As I said earlier about me, you know, and the other ways we can reach people. If I can't do it online, for example, I'll find other ways to get out there and help people. There's always a way. There'll be a new way. That's really what I feel. I'm being guided to take one more as well. Well, we got two. Okay, and we got the same card at the bottom of the deck. Heart Guardian, love and let yourself be loved. Yeah, open your heart is the guidance. So instead of dropping into fear, open your heart and love. Share your love and light. Wow. Everyone, we got the sun and moon. So the sun is masculine energy, the moon is feminine. So we've got that balance of energies that will happen. Remember before we had the solar eclipse come out. So there's something about this maybe happening around a solar eclipse. I'd have to look on the calendar where we might get a sign of this shift. The sun is positive, so if any of you are feeling fear, because the moon can show illusions and fear, the sun is saying enjoy success and happiness in the future. That is what I feel. That is what I sense. So that's really positive. And the moon kind of links with the seer, your intuition, psychic hits, dreams. I think I mentioned that before. It says take note of intuitive messages. Yeah, however they come to you, maybe through the different moon cycles, or just from channeling, being out in nature, for example. But there will be balance with these two coming out, like yin yang, masculine, feminine energies in the world will be balanced. Within people will be more balanced. We'll have this bright future. Hopefully the sun will come out as well. Wow, everyone, that's really amazing that they both came out, I've got to say. This could also show unions, by the way. Soulmates, soul connections with sun and moon, that often can mean that. So either meeting your soul tribe, collaborating, I am seeing that a lot for the future in my visions, but also maybe love connections coming together as well. Just meeting people and it's all synchronized, happens at the right time for a reason to create this balance. So people, as I said, who step up as light workers, if you do that, you'll meet others that are the same and you might work together. It'll be very powerful. Shine your light. Hold the light, shine your light. And ignite your passion for life as well, because I think that's really what we need in the world. So I'm going to leave that there, everyone. Really hope you've enjoyed this reading and that it resonates. Take what resonates and leave the rest, obviously. Trust your intuition. If it resonates, please leave a comment and let me know what you feel as well. Please do hit the like button, share with people who you feel might like this reading. Please do subscribe as well if you want to see future readings. But stay positive, if anything, I would say, especially with the sun that's coming out there. So thank you so much for watching. Sending peace, love and light to you all.